It's 8 minutes past 11. You are listening to the Mid Morning Talk on Salam Media with me, Maryam Mkwanda. This is our Youth Day special. 45 years later, we still face a lot of problems as the youth of South Africa. And just from an article published by The Conversation says unemployment was a serious dilemma long before COVID-19 became a reality, which is the truth. Millions of people desperate for work had to face the stark reality of unemployment. COVID-19 only exacerbated the problem with an alarming unemployment rate of 74% among youths aged 15 to 24. And there is also another article here written by Tahir Maepa. It's titled Youth Day or Youth in Peril. Just a piece from that article where he says, that's why or right before that, all our major political parties have used the youth to gain power and influence and rewarded them with music concerts and alcohol to keep them busy with nothingness. They created a culture of ignorance because it suits them well to have youth with no political and economic consciousness to challenge the lifestyles of these leaders' commitment to the emancipation revolution. That's why our youth have no problem aligning with American imperialism to conquer their country. The depoliticized youth are easy victims of media propaganda of white monopoly capital. Our youth have been turned into limelight consumers of alcohol and designer clothing they can't afford. Unfortunately, this is the sad reality of the youth in our country. And to tell us more is the author of this article, a trade unionist, social and economic activist, Tahir Maepa. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and shukran for joining me.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Maryam. Thank you for having me.
All right, first and foremost, what does Youth Day mean to you?
Well, the commemoration of Youth Day, it was supposed to be a day where we look back at our past and commemorate the lives and the sacrifices of our forebears who in reality wanted a better life. A life where they will be able to enjoy whatever this country has to offer without any forms of discrimination, without any forms of suppressive and kind of bad environment for their future. They put their lives on the line. They died for that. Now, when we look at the context of then and now, what has changed? What has become better, especially for the youth of 2021? What has that blood that has been spilled have nourished for the youth of 2021? Now, there's absolutely nothing to celebrate. In fact, we need to hide ourselves in shame for having failed our young as leaders of society. And I put this term as leaders of society as a transverse term because everybody, whether in the political circle or in the business circle or in the religious circle, people's aspiration is to go into leadership position. Now, when you aspire to be in a leadership position and you do not contribute towards emancipating the young from squalor, from economic deprivation, from education exclusion, from economic exclusion, then that aspiration is based on personal and evil intent, not for those that you claim you are representing.
So, are you saying that the government does not represent the youth? And as you've mentioned in the article, that they just reward them with music, concerts, and alcohol?
This is exactly what has been happening for the past 24 years. And this is what all political parties are doing. They call the youth once a year on Youth Day to come to their rallies, to come and listen to their vomit, to come and listen to, when you are in opposition, you will criticize the one in power. The one in power will try and defend whatever position that they have in a political circle. But immediately after the speeches, what can they offer the youth except alcohol and music to dance their misery away? They've got absolutely nothing to offer. That is why we are having over 8 million youth unemployed in this country as we speak. And chances of them ever being employed in the near future is almost impossible. And I'm saying that it's a failure of the government, but a failure also of society. We have failed the future. And if this issue of the youth is not addressed, this country will go up in flames, because the youth will not stand too long waiting for a Messiah that is nowhere to be found. They are going to take this into their own hands. And because of they don't have means of production, they don't have means of creating economic possibilities for themselves. They are going to take out the anger on what government hasn't done. And the only way to take out the anger, they will burn this country into ashes to take out that anger. And that will be a sad day. And unfortunately, we are sitting in a situation where we are saying that government doesn't seem to be able to have the capacity to deal with the challenges of the youth. Despite that, the government has got beautiful policies on youth. They've got beautiful institutions on youth. But all these institutions haven't even touched the surface as far as making sure that our youth are taken out of this bad situation that they find themselves in.
Mm-hmm. All right. Now, I'd like to know, is this a problem of Black South African youth only, or especially those from amongst rural and the township areas, or is it a problem of the youth across South Africa? But hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break and we will continue thereafter.
235 Matthews Maepa Road in Durban. Head on over for the Taste with Kick. We offer something scrumptious for everyone in the family. Wraps, chicken tikka, burgers, tender grills, mocktails, milkshakes, and so much more. Corporate and events catering available. Visit our social media pages for more info or call 031 209 0119. Kiki's, the Taste with Kick.
Osman's Taj Mahal Spice and Rice. For over 80 years, Osman's Taj Mahal have been perfecting the art of the perfect blend of spices, pure, aromatic, and well-seasoned. Spices to tantalize your taste buds. From creative cuisines to gastronomical gourmet goodies. From exotic odors to traditional dishes, Osman's Taj Mahal have remained synonymous with quality spices and condiments. Taj Mahal rice, beans, and lentils. Try our range of chili bite mixes, rose and ilachi syrup, our quick and easy biryani pack, and our traditional range of spice blends. Osman's Taj Mahal. There is no substitute for quality.
The combined dam levels for the Port Elizabeth area is at a shocking 11%. 1 July is day zero for the Kruger Dam, resulting in dry taps for hundreds of families in the surrounding areas of Port Elizabeth. Help us strategize. Support our water drive in the Eastern Cape region of South Africa. Donate your lilla towards the erecting of JoJo tanks in impoverished areas and for the vehicles to deliver water in areas of need. Donate to the Al-Fida Foundation. Visit our website at www.alfida.co.za or contact us at 041 484 1288.
Listen to something fresh. Listen to Salam Media.
It is 11:18. You are listening to the Youth Day special of the Mid-Morning Talk on Salam Media with me, Maryam Mkwanda. The youth bamboozled by propaganda of white monopoly capital on the one hand and assaulted by hunger and despair on the other are ready soldiers of the reactionary maneuvers. Today's black youth have no qualms with marching hand in hand with land thieves against its black leaders. This shows you how deep the ideological decay has gone. That's an excerpt from the article that was written by trade unionist, social and economic activist Tahir Maepa, who is still with me on the other side. Shukran for staying with me, Tahir. Before the break, I wanted to know about the situation that we're currently facing as a country. Is it only a problem faced by Black South Africans, especially those from rural and township areas, or is it across the board?
Well, this is a problem across the board amongst the Black youth, colored youth, and Indian youth, especially in those areas that were classified in the past through the Group Areas Act. If you go to any of these townships, be it colored township, Indian township, or Black township, you find the same situation. However, in the Black community, in terms of proportionality, it's far much higher, and even worse in the rural areas, because the rural areas are the forgotten areas of our society because they are far from the city. Even if they raise their complaints, they don't necessarily get much attention and media attention as the youth of the cities or the townships that are closer to the cities. But this is across the board. The youth of this country are in peril, whether be it colored, whether be it Indian or Black. Even to a certain extent among the white youth, you find a similar situation, even though the numbers are not that high. But even there's a lot of white youth that are unemployed, who are unable to make ends meet. So this is a problem that cuts across all levels of society.
Mm-hmm. So how do we address this issue going forward? I mean, there obviously needs to be some sort of intervention. I mean, if government is not doing it, then basically it is up to us to do it on our own.
That is what the basis of my article. The problem that we are having is that the youth of today, the political consciousness has been removed from their radar. Unlike the youth of 1976, they were driven by political consciousness, and their anger was channeled towards the real enemy that deprives them of the future, a future that everybody is seeking. And the youth of today have been made to believe that what they see on TV, the life of glamour and all these funny things that are perpetuated not only by our celebrities but also by government departments like the Department of Arts and Culture, has blinded them to political consciousness so that they can engage politically and economically in terms of their future. Now, where do we start? How do we address this? And I'm saying, due to 24 years of lies and deception by political leaders and this government, firstly, the young people of this country need to be paid reparation. They need to be paid reparation and be repaired for those lies that they've been promised a better life in the future. They've been promised education, a quality education that will make them to be able to look after themselves. They need to be paid reparation for all these theft and corruption that has robbed us as a people, billions and billions of rands that were supposed to come to us to look after us and to look after the vulnerable ones of society. They need to be paid reparation. There must be a concerted effort for this government to come out and apologize for their sickness, for what they did to the youth of this country. Once they have done that, firstly, they need to relinquish power. Now, when I say relinquish power, I'm not talking about them leaving government and let somebody to come in and rule, because I don't see anybody who's. They need to relinquish power. By relinquishing power, I'm saying they need to give power back to the people. And whatever that they promise, they need to fulfill it. Because with all the policies that we have and government initiatives. There's a lot that can be done, but government now is entangled into a lot of corruption, and they're unable to fulfill their obligations because they don't have money, the money that they stole. Secondly, we need to call on business. Business, these are the biggest criminals that we have in this country. When their money is threatened, they call us to come and march with them under the guise of Save South Africa and all that. There has never been a Save South Africa initiative. It was Save Our Rands initiatives. These are the people who are holding trillions of rands that they are refusing to plow into this economy that will take a lot of these young people out of unemployment. They are holding on to that money. Why? Because they are driven by politics and political expediency. They don't care about us. They care about who's in power, and whoever that is in power, that will be more policy savvy towards their intention of gaining more out of us. So the business community have contributed to the situation that we find ourselves in, because government is not a job job creation institution. Government needs to make the environment conducive for business to create jobs. Yes, I also sympathize with business. Nobody will like to put their money into a government or into an institution where their money is not going to be safe. However, they have contributed to the situation that we find themselves in. If they had stayed out of politics, when they fund political parties, they should not fund political parties with the intention of them benefiting through the back door. It should be for the good of society, but they failed in that. And that is why we're seeing this. So they need to come in. They need to also repent and put money into this reparation to say that in terms of our contribution, in terms of our exploitative nature that we have played out from apartheid days until today, we are willing to put money and create opportunities for the youth. We are willing to put money into this economy so that we can create jobs where these young people can be absorbed. And we are willing to put money in order to make sure that we reform the education system. We make the township schools to be able to be competitive, to be empowered, to have facilities so that the young people who come from the township and the rural schools are also receiving the same level of education that the people in the urban areas, particularly those in the private schooling system, are receiving. And until we reach that point, we are playing around hell fire, and it is going to consume us, rich or poor.
Mhm. Well, we have a long way to go as the youth and the people of South Africa, and hopefully we can find a common ground. And well, it's going to take a long time to reverse these effects, but we need some common ground. Shukran for your time, Tahir, and have a wonderful day. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Tahir Maepa, a trade unionist, social and economic activist, taking us through an article that he wrote, Youth Day or Youth in Peril. And just another excerpt from there. If the challenges of the youth are not addressed as a state of emergency, soon they will explode and burn this country into ashes. We need to go back to building a youth with ideological content or perish as a people. And we all like to say that the youth are the future of tomorrow, but what are we doing to invest in their futures? It is 11:27. You are listening to the Mid-Morning Talk on Salam Media with me, Maryam